de suite. Voilà, et je vais me permettre de partager mon écran. Hop. Alors, je préciserai peut-être aussi à ce stade que si vous avez des questions tout au long de ce webinaire, n'hésitez pas à les saisir dans l'onglet questions-réponses que vous pouvez voir en bas ou en haut ou sur le côté de votre écran. On y répondra tout au long du webinaire ou alors à la fin, selon les questions. Donc, n'hésitez pas à les saisir à cet endroit-là pendant tout le webinaire. Voilà. Bon, je vais commencer en français. Vous verrez qu'après, Francky et Maria vous parleront en anglais. Ce sera un bel exercice. Du coup, voilà, pour ceux qui envisagent ces études-là à l'étranger. Pour ma part, donc voilà, je travaille pour Study Experience, qui est une agence française et belge qui accompagne les étudiants pour partir étudier à l'étranger. Donc, notre rôle au quotidien, c'est de vous aider à trouver les bonnes formations, les bonnes universités à l'étranger, et puis vous coacher dans toutes les étapes pour monter un bon dossier, une belle candidature, et confirmer votre départ à l'étranger et partir dans de bonnes conditions. Voilà pour la petite introduction et la page publicité. Je ne vous embêterai plus avec ça. Donc, rentrons dans le vif du sujet. Donc, les études de sciences politiques et relations internationales. Déjà, commençons par la base. Qu'est-ce que c'est? En quoi ça peut peut-être vous intéresser? C'est une formation, vous allez le voir, qui est assez pluridisciplinaire, qui couvre beaucoup de terrain. Mais voilà, c'est vrai qu'à la base, si vous vous posez des questions, vous êtes particulièrement intéressé par certaines thématiques en lien avec ce qui est affiché sur votre écran. Donc voilà, pourquoi fait-on la guerre, par exemple? Pourquoi le niveau de vie est-il si différent entre les différents pays? Est-ce qu'une démocratie, c'est toujours le bon modèle? Voilà, c'est le type de questions, en tout cas, qui serait abordé dans une formation de ce type. Vous allez aborder de manière assez générale les règles et les décisions qui gouvernent les membres d'un groupe, d'une société, d'un pays. Vous allez essayer de comprendre comment les gouvernements créent leur politique. Vous allez étudier l'histoire aussi, forcément, mais les différents aspects de la politique, à savoir aussi l'économie, la sociologie. Donc, quand je vous parlais de quelque chose d'assez pluridisciplinaire, c'est vrai que voilà, on va faire appel à pas mal de matières finalement dans ces formations-là. Et puis, avec le volet relations internationales, on ajoute tout le côté aussi ouverture sur l'international. On peut intégrer des langues dans ce type de cursus. Évidemment, l'étude de politique comparative. Vous avez des programmes très ciblés, on verra peut-être quelques exemples aussi, à la fois au niveau bachelor et master sur la diplomatie entre les pays, les études de guerre, par exemple, des choses comme ça. Donc, voilà en quoi ça consiste. Alors, ce que vous allez voir par la suite, un petit peu plus tard dans ce webinaire, Frankie et Maria vous présenteront de manière plus précise les cursus de sciences politiques et relations internationales dans leur établissement. Je pense que c'est vraiment la meilleure façon pour vous de comprendre à quoi ressemble une formation de ce type. À la fois au niveau bachelor et master, on va aborder les deux niveaux d'études et les matières finalement qui sont abordées dans ces formations-là de manière précise. De manière générale, donc ce qu'on va aborder dans ces formations-là, vous avez, on va dire, certains modules qu'on fait un petit peu partout, qui vont constituer le cœur de la formation. C'est des modules obligatoires, on va dire, que tous les étudiants font. On va étudier de la politique comparative, vous allez avoir pas mal de théories, de la politique nationale, de l'économie, des thématiques en lien avec l'éthique, l'histoire, la philosophie, toutes sortes de choses. Mais après, vous allez avoir une liberté assez importante, en fait, au niveau de la manière dans laquelle vous envisagez ce cursus et vous pouvez le construire un petit peu en fonction des intérêts que vous avez. Et ça, vous le faites en choisissant des modules qui vont être plus ou moins spécialisés. Je vous ai listé quelques exemples à l'écran que vous pouvez voir. Et ça, c'est une particularité, d'ailleurs, je dirais de manière générale, des études dans les pays anglo-saxons, c'est que vous avez cette flexibilité dans les études et cette possibilité vraiment d'adapter votre cursus à vos intérêts et à votre évolution aussi personnelle. Donc, au fur et à mesure de vos études, vous pouvez choisir de prendre une direction spécifique et vraiment de choisir les modules qui vous conviennent le plus. À savoir que plus vous allez avancer dans les études, plus vous vous spécialisez. Donc, en première année, en principe, vous allez avoir un noyau commun assez important, mais vers la fin de vos études, c'est généralement presque que des options que vous faites. Donc là, vous avez vraiment un cursus qui vous correspond à 100%. Et une autre manière d'étudier, d'envisager ces études de sciences politiques ou de relations internationales, c'est d'envisager ce qu'on appelle les combined honors, ou ça porte d'autres noms aussi. On peut appeler ça les joint honors. Je sais que Frank il va en parler un petit peu plus tard dans sa présentation. C'est cette possibilité vraiment de pouvoir combiner plusieurs spécialités et d'avoir. Alors, on peut éventuellement avoir un double diplôme, ou en tout cas, voilà, avoir plusieurs spécialités dans sa formation. Donc, les sciences politiques, on peut l'envisager d'un côté, en le mélangeant aussi à d'autres choses, à de l'histoire, par exemple, ou à du droit, à des langues. Une formation qui est très prisée et que propose notamment Louis, c'est Philosophy, Politics and Economics, qui vraiment est une formation très interdisciplinaire et voilà, qui vous propose, et exigeante d'ailleurs, hein, d'un point de vue au niveau de la langue, au niveau sur le plan académique, c'est des formations intensives et vraiment exigeantes qui vous donnent beaucoup de compétences que vous pouvez appliquer dans tout un tas de domaines, dans le domaine de la politique, mais pas que. Et donc, quand on essaye de réfléchir à ce que vous apporterez des études de politique, si vous hésitez un petit peu à opter pour cette filière, je pense que de manière générale, c'est un socle de compétences interdisciplinaire. J'insiste beaucoup sur le terme interdisciplinaire, qui est en vogue aussi en ce moment, hein, puisqu'on sait bien que euh, ben, on vit dans un monde aujourd'hui où se professionnaliser trop tôt, ce n'est pas forcément la meilleure stratégie, hein. Les choses évoluent énormément, les technologies changent beaucoup, et on peut s'attendre à ce que assez rapidement, dans les prochaines années, de nouveaux métiers émergent. On dit souvent que 80% des métiers qui existeront dans 20 ans n'existent pas encore. Et donc, il peut y avoir un vrai intérêt à choisir une formation assez large, interdisciplinaire, qui vous permet de vous adapter un petit peu à l'évolution aussi du marché de l'emploi et de la société. Et donc là, pour le coup, une formation assez généraliste comme ça en politique et relations internationales vous permet tout à fait de vous inscrire dans cette logique. Ça va vous apporter une belle culture générale, une belle capacité d'analyser les choses, de réfléchir et de critiquer les choses. Ça, c'est plutôt ce que je vais appeler les soft skills ou les compétences transversales, on peut appeler ça aussi en français. C'est des choses qui seront utiles dans tous les domaines finalement, hein. Donc, à la fois dans le domaine de la politique, si finalement c'est ce que vous souhaitez faire comme carrière par la suite, mais c'est tout à fait transposable à d'autres choses et c'est très courant de faire des études de politique pour ensuite se professionnaliser dans un autre domaine, le droit, le commerce ou autre chose encore. Donc voilà, ces compétences transversales que vous allez acquérir pendant vos études sont vraiment applicables dans plein de domaines. Une rigueur forcément méthodologique. Vous allez apprendre aussi à écrire et à parler en anglais en l'occurrence ou dans d'autres langues, si vous y ajoutez d'autres langues, à un très haut niveau. Et ça, c'est des choses, encore une fois, toujours bien perçues par les entreprises et qui peuvent que vous donner une longueur d'avance dans votre recherche d'emploi par la suite. Voilà, donc une belle préparation de manière générale au marché du travail. Alors, qui ferait des études de politique et de relations internationales? Alors, évidemment, on reçoit des étudiants qui savent de toute façon très bien que c'est dans cette voie-là qu'ils souhaitent s'orienter et qui souhaitent faire de la politique plus tard et qui, du coup, ils font ce choix de manière assez logique. Mais on a toutes sortes de profils, en fait, finalement, qui nous contactent et qui sont intéressés par cette filière-là. Il y a les étudiants sensibles à l'international qui ont envie de faire un parcours vraiment ouvert sur le monde et qui souhaitent travailler à l'international. Écoutez, là, généralement, il y a deux choix que font une majorité d'étudiants, ça va être soit les études de sciences politiques et de relations internationales, ou alors peut-être une formation de commerce international ou des choses comme ça. Mais voilà, en fonction des intérêts de chacun et de ce que vous préférez, ça peut être Sciences Po, ça peut être commerce, ça peut être éventuellement autre chose, mais voilà, c'est quand même ces deux formations qui se démarquent le plus pour ce profil-là. Vous avez les étudiants vraiment généralistes qui n'ont pas envie de se spécialiser à ce stade, qui sont bons un peu dans tout, qui veulent continuer un petit peu dans tout. C'est aussi le profil souvent qui intègre d'ailleurs Sciences Po en France, à Paris. On cherche une formation pluridisciplinaire. On n'a pas envie de se spécialiser tout de suite. Comme je vous l'expliquais, ça c'est tout à fait possible avec cette filière-là. On va avoir voilà, les étudiants curieux qui aiment débattre de sujets, qui aiment bien prendre la parole, qui aiment bien écrire. Donc, le côté, c'est sûr qu'il faut être plutôt littéraire, on va dire, pour ces formations-là. On va vous demander d'écrire beaucoup de dissertations, de mémoires, de choses comme ça. Vous allez être amené souvent à présenter des sujets, à débattre de sujets. Et donc, ça, il faut fondamentalement aimer cette approche-là. Et puis, c'est bien aussi pour ceux qui sont un petit peu perdus, hein, en fait, qui ne savent pas exactement ce qu'ils veulent étudier, qui veulent se garder un maximum de portes ouvertes, tout en faisant, encore une fois, une formation assez générale. Et voilà, et donc au niveau des diplômes que vous pouvez envisager sur ces formations-là à l'étranger, généralement, on va s'orienter plutôt sur deux types de formations. Vous avez le bachelor pour ceux qui sortent du bac, et ces bachelors-là se font en 3 ou 4 ans. Quand on le fait sur 4 ans, souvent, ça intègre une année de stage à l'étranger ou une année d'échange à l'étranger ou des choses comme ça. Donc voilà, vous pourriez faire 2 années en Angleterre, par exemple, une année en Espagne, et puis revenir faire votre dernière année en Angleterre. Mais vous pouvez aussi faire la formation en 3 ans et valider ainsi, voilà, en 3 ans, l'équivalent de la licence. Et pour ceux qui ont déjà validé une licence, et ben là, vous pouvez envisager le niveau master qui se fait en 1 an ou 2 ans selon le système éducatif. Au Royaume-Uni, c'est toujours 1 an et ça, c'est vrai que c'est un point positif là-dessus. Je pense qu'à Louis, les formations se font aussi plutôt sur 1 an au niveau du master. Maria nous le confirmera tout à l'heure. Mais voilà, ça, il faut avoir validé pour le coup une licence universitaire pour accéder au niveau master. À savoir que les masters sont aussi accessibles à des étudiants qui n'ont pas forcément fait une licence dans le domaine des sciences politiques et des relations internationales. Donc, vous pouvez très bien avoir fait une licence en droit, par exemple, ou en histoire, ou en commerce, et décider par la suite de vous réorienter sur quelque chose d'autre. Voilà. Et donc, que faire après des études en sciences politiques? Alors, ça dépend si on parle évidemment des étudiants du premier cycle, à savoir la licence ou du niveau master. Souvent, quand même, les étudiants continuent en master et donc se spécialisent à ce niveau-là, dans ce même domaine des sciences politiques ou dans d'autres domaines. On va souvent s'en servir dans le monde anglo-saxon comme préparation à des études de droit, par exemple, beaucoup les études de droit. Dans le système américain, par exemple, vous ne pouvez pas faire de droit post-bac. Ça ne peut que se faire au niveau master. Et donc, de ce fait, les étudiants prennent une formation assez généraliste, comme celle-ci, au niveau post-bac, et ensuite envisagent le master en droit. Ça peut précéder des études de journalisme aussi, ça c'est assez courant. Aussi, évidemment, des études de commerce. À noter qu'il existe beaucoup de passerelles entre l'étranger et la France. Hein. Donc, si vous partez post-bac à l'étranger, valider une formation de niveau licence, vous pouvez tout à fait envisager de revenir en France et d'intégrer les grandes écoles, et notamment Sciences Po, qui est très ouverte à ce genre de profil, à vrai dire, puisque ce sont des étudiants voilà, qui sont partis, qui ont vu autre chose, qui parlent plusieurs langues, qui ont évolué dans un autre système éducatif, dans une autre culture. Et ça, c'est des profils qu'elles aiment bien. Donc ça peut être un bon plan en fait. Je pense que c'est plus facile à vrai dire d'intégrer des grandes écoles comme Sciences Po en ayant fait au préalable une première formation à l'étranger qu'en postulant directement après le bac. Bon, et après ces études, vous pouvez aussi vous travailler évidemment directement, que ce soit après le master, même après la licence. Hein. C'est vrai qu'en France, on parle beaucoup du master et il y a cette obsession un petit peu de valider un bac+5 avant de s'intégrer, enfin, avant de postuler pour travailler. C'est beaucoup moins vrai dans d'autres pays, notamment au Royaume-Uni, où je pense qu'une majorité d'étudiants va rejoindre le marché de l'emploi après la licence, en fait. Donc ça dépend vraiment, voilà, d'où vous en êtes dans votre degré, voilà, de formation, de maturité à ce niveau-là, et si vous avez envie de faire des longues études ou plutôt travailler directement. Bon, voilà pour moi. Je reste disponible sur le chat. Donc, si vous avez la moindre question tout au long de cette présentation, n'hésitez pas à poser dans l'onglet questions-réponses. Je vous répondrai en direct. Si c'est une très, très bonne question, je la garderai pour la fin pour que tout le monde puisse en profiter. Et du coup, je cède la parole à Frankie de l'Université de Reading qui va nous présenter du coup les études de politique et relations internationales dans son établissement. Voilà.
Hi everybody, as Mark said, I'm Frankie. I'm the Regional Manager for Student Recruitment from Europe and the Americas here at the University of Reading. So I'm really pleased to introduce you to our Politics and International Relations Department here at the university, which is part of our wider school, which is Politics, International Relations and Economics. So I've put a couple of questions that our students have been discussing this term just at the very start of this. So for example, how do we determine who is a terrorist? What is causing the rise of far-right parties across the EU? And how can the international community best respond to conflict in the Middle East? And I really put these here to demonstrate that we do put these types of questions at the heart of everything that we do. And we do put a great emphasis on student debate as part of our classes. So our department has been ranked 9th in the UK by our research intensity. We are a very research heavy university, and all of our academics do tend to publish quite extensively on a fairly regular basis. In addition, 80% of our research impact is recognised to be world leading or internationally excellent, and our academics are always going off to different conferences, flying back and forth to the US quite a lot at the moment, and giving guest lectures and really trying to network and giving our students the best opportunities that they can have. So next thing I wanted to do was to give you a bit more information about the type of courses that we offer. I'll just get the next slide, please. Great, thank you. So I've highlighted a couple of courses here, but as Mark mentioned, we do have a lot of joint degrees that are available at the University of Reading as well. So our main flagship programme is our BA in Politics and International Relations. So I've put 3 years next to all of them here, but you can also add a placement year. I'll talk about a little bit later. But Politics and International Relations is a single honours. It is the most flexible out of all of our courses. It gives you the most options for different modules that you'd like to select in part 2 and part 3 of the course. We also have our War, Peace and International Relations course, and this is a little bit more of a specialised course. Students have less options to do with what modules they can choose, but they can specialise a little bit more in those particular areas. I've also highlighted our joint degrees with economics, so that's politics and economics and international relations. And economics, again, this is a specialised degree programme, so you have slightly less choice in the modules that you can pick. However, you are coming out with a slightly more specialist degree. And if you do know that these are areas that you want to go into in the future, it's a really good option for you to pick them. In addition, we do have a number of joint degrees. There are lots of different ones available within the department. I've highlighted a few here. So philosophy, English literature, history, and modern languages. So they're all designed to be complementary to each other. We only ever offer joint degrees at the University of Reading if we do think that these topics can go quite well together. So they will complement each other. You'll learn things in one course that you'll be able to benefit the other. When it comes to writing your dissertation thesis, at the end, you'd usually do that as a joint thesis. So it would reflect parts from each of those subject areas. I know Mark had mentioned a PPE course, so philosophy, politics and economics. This is also something that we offer at the University of Reading, and it does tend to be a degree that traditionally UK politicians take before going into the world of politics. So if that really is your ambition overall, then the PPE course is probably one of the better options for you. We are quite a small department, and we have about 150 students a year, including our joint honours. So we have about 90 single honours students and then about 60 joint honours students. So we do have a really good staff to student ratio. You'll always know all of your professors and they'll be able to support you throughout your studies. I've highlighted the first year specifically here because it actually is shared across quite a lot of our different degree courses. So all the ones I talked about and highlighted in the slide before, I've put at the top here. And the first year of studies with us, you'd be doing a lot of shared modules between these courses before you go on to specialise in part 2 and part 3 of the degrees. So there are core modules across all of these different programmes, which are Introduction to Contemporary Democracy, Introduction to Political Ideas, and International Relations and Strategic Studies. So no matter which of our degree programmes you pick, there will be core modules that you share across all of those. Then, depending on which side you sit on, so to speak, you would have optional modules that you could choose. So if you're taking a more politics-heavy program, such as Politics and International Relations or War, Peace and International Relations, then you'll have politics optional modules. So I've highlighted a few here. So freedom, British society and inequality, or you can pick up to 3 optional modules from across the university. These do tend to be at least roughly related to what you're doing, but you will be given a list a little bit closer to the time. So if you do want to pick to do modules in a few different areas and broaden your horizons, that is something that you're able to do. If you are more on the economics side, so if you are taking one of the joint degrees with economics, you'll also have access to our economics core modules. So we have introductory micro and macroeconomics, quantitative methods in economics and business, and also introductory mathematics for economics that you'll be able to choose from. So when it comes to optional modules, I just wanted to highlight a few, because when you get into parts 2 and part 3 of these degree programs, they do differ quite a bit. We'd be here forever if I was going through the structure of all of them. But to give you an idea of the type of expertise that we have at the University of Reading, I wanted to give you a list of some of the optional modules that we've offered over the past few years. Of course, the module list is indicative and it is subject to change each year, depending on what our academics are researching at that time and how many students sign up for each course. But just to highlight a few here, I think are particularly interesting. So we have Politics and International Relations of the Middle East, War, Peace and International Ethics, British Foreign and Defence Policy since 1945, and Feminism and Political Theory. So I hope you can see there is a really wide range of different optional modules on offer, and no matter what your particular interest is, there should be a module you're able to take that will reflect that at the university. So I've mentioned that all of our degrees have a placement option called that a 3+1 degree, but you would actually usually take that in the 3rd year of your degree programme and making it up to 4 years. So in all of our degree programmes, you have the option to go and do a 1-year placement, and this might be within a relevant political body, but students do also go to quite a few different types of companies just to gain lots of experience, because of course not all of our students will necessarily go into politics and government afterwards. It really depends on what you're interested in. In addition, many students also take part in summer internships with local companies. So even if you decide that you don't want to do a full 1-year placement, you'll still have the option to go and do a summer internship with a company. I've listed a few of the companies that we've had partnerships with and where students have gone to over the last few years, but you can see some of the big ones there, like Bank of England, the Chamber of Commerce in the Thames Valley, which is where the University of Reading is, NHS, Rolls-Royce and Disney, as well as some smaller local companies that you might not necessarily have heard of. So I also wanted to highlight one of our master's courses. And the reason that I picked this particular master's course is simply because I think diplomacy is becoming more and more important, particularly within the UK job market. And it is one of the careers of the future to watch within the UK if you are actually interested in working in the UK post-graduation. And this is for a number of different reasons, partly due to globalization within the United Kingdom, but also to do with Brexit. I have to say the B word, I'm very sorry. But there are obviously a lot of negotiations that are going on between the EU and the UK at the moment. So students with advantages and experience within diplomacy are becoming more and more valuable within the job market. So with the Masters in Diplomacy, you've got several core modules similar to the undergraduate degrees. Then I've also listed some of the optional modules that you'd potentially be able to choose from. The idea is that we're wanting students to not look at only just traditional diplomatic actors such as states, foreign ministries, but also to different types of diplomatic actors such as NGOs, individuals, and also more importantly, corporations. I think of kind of gaining importance, and you're looking at all of those together to make sure that you understand diplomacy as a wider field. So all students would do a dissertation, so that's a master's thesis. They would all look at contemporary diplomacy and also all look at an introduction to qualitative research methods. Outside of that, it's all optional modules. So again, students can really tailor this degree program to whatever it is that they're interested in. So I've highlighted a few here, but there are other optional modules outside of this. So international relations, comparative elections and voting behaviour, and international relations theory, just being a few that you're able to choose from. So I wanted to talk briefly a little bit about careers prospects for our students, as I know that's becoming, of course, more and more important, and students are always looking at what they'll potentially be able to do after graduation. So nearly 100% of our students are within work or further study within 6 months of graduation, which is always a great figure to talk about. But I think potentially even more importantly, 75% of those students already in work are already in professional or managerial roles. So you know that you'd be going into a graduate role rather than any other type of role post-graduation. Also wanted to list a few past graduate destinations here for you. The one I think probably of most interest here is the Conservative Party, partly just because that is the ruling party here in the UK at the moment. So we have had students that go on to the Conservative Party after graduation. In addition, sticking with more of a politics and governmental type role, we've had students go on to the civil service and DEFRA. But then students do go on to a really wide variety of different positions as well. Some of them might go into more banking. I've listed here FIDY Kenya, which is a women's rights organisation, and the RAF as well. So if you are interested in finding out a little bit more about the University of Reading, of course, Mark and the team at Study Experience can help you to do so. But I just wanted to give you a bit more information so you know who we are and where we are in the UK. So we are a top 30 UK university. Hope you can see us there in the southeast of the UK on the map. We are very close to London, which is particularly important, I think, for our politics and international relations students, as we do try and take them into London to go on relevant visits as much as we possibly can do. We've got a lot of links with a lot of different political figures, both locally and in London, which students are able to take advantage of. Quite an old university. So we were originally founded in 1892 as the University of Oxford Extension College, and we gained our Royal Charter, being given university status in 1926. We're actually the only university to be given university status between the two world wars here in the UK. We've been educating international students for a really long time, and we've educated 150,000 people from 180 different countries over the years. Actually, our first international student came to us in 1908. They came to study agriculture all the way from Kenya. So as I said, we've been welcoming students from all over the globe for a really long period of time. We are a campus university. You can see a couple of pictures at the bottom here. The one on the left-hand side is our School of Law, which overlooks our lake. And we've also got a picture from our other campus, which is the London Road campus, which is the picture on the bottom right-hand side. But because we're a campus university, we've got loads of green space, woodland, wildlife, and we do have on-campus accommodation for our students as well. So I think that's probably it from me for now. If you do have any questions, I'm more than happy to help. But I now pass over to Maria, who's going to give you some more information about her courses. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here again. Thank you, Mark, for inviting us. So I'm just going to give you a very quick overview about our university and then, of course, the political science courses. Can I get the next slide, please? All right, so a few words about LUIS. We are a social science university. We are based in Italy, in Rome, in the very center of the city of Rome. Our university was funded in the late 70s by Confindustria, which is the largest confederation of Italian companies and enterprises. So we do have a very close relationship with the corporate world, the political world, and I will tell you a little bit more about it in the next few minutes. So a few words about rankings. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with them, but if you are not, here is my first tip. It's definitely quite important to, understand them a little bit and at least get to know the main international ones. So regarding LUIS, we rank first in Italy according to Il Sole 24 Ore, which is the main national ranking. Our Department of Political Science made it to the top 15, the QS World University ranking, obviously something we're very, very proud of. And the other big department that is ranked quite well is the Department in Business and Management, which ranks in the top 100 on the Financial Times. Here you see that we also rank third in career progress, and obviously this is connected with what I was saying a little bit earlier, which is the connection that we have with Confindustria. So few pictures. It's not exactly obviously the same to see them online, but just to give you a little bit of an idea. And if you come to Rome, obviously you're more than welcome to visit our campuses. But we are quite lucky. We have 4 campuses, the proper campuses. So it's not just a building, it's an actual, originally they were actually villas owned by Roman families. As you can see, we decided to keep the original architecture. You know, we just try to make it suitable for classes, but it's actually very easy to walk around campus and see, you know, fountains and columns and statues, etc., etc. We do have very nice gardens, and we're quite lucky. Rome is, you know, the weather in Rome is normally pretty good, so students get to use them pretty much throughout the whole year. We do have also accommodations, and here you just see one of the rooms. I wanted to share it because from my personal experience, dorms are not always, you know, that great, but in reality here at Lewis, our dorms are particularly outstanding, as they were originally hotels that the university renovated. So yeah, a few words about numbers. Obviously, we're a social science university, so we do love them. Not too much, so don't worry if you're not that much into math. We do have 4 departments: economics and finance, business and management, political science, and law. The university is considered to be a middle-sized university because we have less than 10,000 students, and we want to keep it that way. That allows us to really create a community environment where, you know, we know you, we know your names, very often we know your families. It's a very supportive environment. The student-professor ratio is also pretty good, so it's 7:1. You always have access to the faculty, and there is a dropout rate which is 0%. It's pretty impressive, and this is because we do have a very developed tutoring service, so that from the first day that you arrive to Rome, you are supported by a university tutor, which is a person that can help you understand how the university, you know, is run in Italy, how you can book an exam, why this session but not the other session, all these tiny things that they'll put all together can be kind of confusing. And then you also have academic tutors, which are usually professor assistants. They, you know, are specialized in those subjects. So if you have troubles, there is always at least one subject that is a little bit tougher than the others. And so you can just get to talk with tutors every day if needed until, you know, you understand which one is the obstacle, and then you can actually overcome it. I think that our university bases upon 2 very big columns. One is represented by the internationalization process that was launched a few years ago. These involved not only the student body, of course, the faculty, but also the international opportunities that we provide our students with. So right now we have about 55 double degrees. We have 300 agreements with universities in 64 countries. So pretty much wherever you want to go, we can make it happen, or really do our best to make it happen for you. The other big column is represented by this relationship that I was mentioning with the job market, so that our students, graduates, find their first job within 2 months from graduation on average, and 94% of our alumni are fully employed within 1 year from graduation. Here, just few names and few logos that I guess all of you can recognize. I think it's important to mention that connected with the political science world. So Lewis in Italy is the university with the highest number of graduates that then started a career in diplomacy. So wherever you go, Italian embassies, cultural institutions, etc., there is always at least one graduate from Lewis that works there. And we are obviously very proud of it. All right, so moving to the programs, we have one bachelor degree in under the political science department, completely taught in English. This is something that I guess I forgot to mention. The university is fully bilingual, so that you do not need to speak any Italian. Pretty much 60% of our academic offer is in English. We do offer free Italian classes, and if you guys are French native speakers, it's obviously kind of easy for you to pick it up. So we, recommend you to do it. But if you do not want to learn, it's fine. You can just speak English and that's enough. So at the bachelor level, all our programs last 3 years, and this is for the whole nation. The bachelor in politics, philosophy, and economics, as was mentioned also earlier, is a very comprehensive kind of bachelor degree. It gives you the possibility, of course, to focus on what you think is, the field that you are interested in, which is political science, but it still keeps a window open for those of you that are not 100% certain. Of course, when you start, university, you're very young, we know. So if you are quite sure, but not completely sure, this is, I guess, a very good program. It is structured in a way that allows you at the end of the 3 years, so when you get your degree, to keep studying, for example, at the master level, economics, if you understand that, you love numbers and that's what you want to do, or management. So it's, a very good first step, let's say, towards this field. Of course, also in this case, you have elective programs that you can pick. You can pick electives from each one of the other bachelor degrees that we have, which means that if you realize that you are more into economics, you can pick some programs from there. If you're more into computer science, you can pick something from there, so that at the end you have a very broad, background. One of the things worth mentioning about the PPE program is that we do have a double degree with Sciences Po Bordeaux. So if this is something that you are interested in doing, I guess maybe going back home is not the best thing, but if this is something that you feel very comfortable with, this is, you can try and apply. Otherwise, obviously, the Erasmus program is always available. You can go pretty much anywhere. At the master level, we do have several programs, as you see. Here, all the master degrees are structured in 2 years. So the first year is in common for all students that are enrolled in that specific master. And then at the end of the first year, you get to pick your major. So it's not the decision that you have to make right away when you submit your application, but you do have time to learn a little bit more about each specific major. And so, then obviously the second year, which is hopefully your final year of studies, and then you're ready to enter the job market, you can really focus on whatever you think is, the right fit for you. In particular, I'm going to share a few words about the program in policies and governance in Europe. So the program, this is a very, very particular kind of program. It's technically a double degree, but in reality, it's more like a joint degree that we have with King's College. So the idea is that you guys can decide to do it 100% in Rome and just, stay here and do it at Lewis, or you could decide to do 1 year here and 1 year in London. And you also get to pick the major among 4 majors, 2 offered by us and 2 offered by King's. So there is a very big variety of opportunities for you. The first year, so here obviously you see the courses that we offer, but again, I guess it's a good way to try to understand a little bit more what you want to do and the specific focus that you want to give to your career, and then you can move on and pick the major and decide if you want to start in Rome or in London. As there is no better way to talk about a program than having someone that is actually studying it. So I thought to invite Taimur, who will tell you a little bit more about the program.
Thank you, Maria. So bonsoir tout le monde. I think I will talk to you in French, since I come from a high school, a French high school, so un baccalauréat français, autrefois série ES. Et maintenant, je me retrouve dans ce merveilleux cursus de Policies and Governance in Europe, double degree, Lewis et King's College. Donc, très rapidement, mon profil est celui d'une licence en sciences politiques, en philosophy, politics and economics, ici à la Lewis University, ici à Rome, et j'ai décidé de continuer avec un master en politique de l'Union européenne. quoi dire sinon qu'une merveilleuse expérience du point de vue de notre point de vue en tant qu'étudiant, c'est une grande opportunité pour unir aussi bien le point de vue académique que celui professionnel. On a la chance d'étudier à Rome, la capitale d'un des États fondateurs de l'Union européenne. Donc, comme vous pouvez imaginer, on vit l'Europe. J'aime souvent dire qu'on étudie à Rome ou à Londres, mais en regardant à Bruxelles, parce que chaque jour dans nos cursus, on parle de l'actualité européenne et on ne parle pas uniquement de comment l'Union européenne est née, mais de comment l'Union européenne est actuellement et de comment elle devrait être dans le futur. Et aussi, Rome est une ville très spéciale du point de vue des étudiants de sciences politiques parce que c'est la ville au monde avec le plus grand nombre d'ambassades, ambassades auprès de l'État italien, ambassades auprès du Vatican, mais aussi ambassades auprès des institutions de l'ONU, puisque à Rome, comme l'a dit Maria avant moi, il y a 3 programmes des Nations Unies qui ont leur siège à Rome et donc qui nous permettent parfois même de faire partie de leur équipe en tant que stagiaire. Donc, pour ce qui me concerne, j'ai eu la chance de travailler pour le gouvernement italien à plusieurs reprises. Aussi bien pendant la licence, je travaillais au bureau pour les affaires internationales et européennes du ministère pour le développement économique. Et là, j'ai l'opportunité de travailler au plan de relance post-Covid au sein du gouvernement italien. 2 opportunités que j'ai trouvées grâce à notre université qui les propose chaque jour grâce au réseau que l'on a à disposition. Et au milieu de ces deux expériences de stage, même une opportunité à la FAO, donc au Fonds des Nations Unies pour l'agriculture, où j'ai aidé à coordonner une conférence internationale sur l'agriculture durable. Donc, on parle quand même de programmes qui nous permettent de mettre en pratique ce qu'on fait, de mettre en pratique grâce à nos professeurs qui je dois dire, grâce à professeur Mark Thatcher, le directeur de notre cursus, on a eu l'opportunité d'avoir un groupe de professeurs qui provient de partout dans le monde, Italie et non seulement, et surtout grâce à d'autres laboratoires, comme un laboratoire que je suis en train de fréquenter là maintenant, qui est de préparation aux carrières européennes et internationales. Donc, simulation de concours, simulation de colloques, etc. Et tout cela peut sembler peut-être très, très stressant, très challenging d'un point de vue, et peut-être vous pourriez penser que ça occupe la quasi-totalité de nos journées, certes, mais grâce à la LUIS, on a même l'opportunité de participer à d'autres activités extérieures, comme par exemple activités sportives. La LUIS a un club de sport qui propose plus d'une dizaine de sports et qui arrive à combiner les 2 choses, activités académiques et sportives, et aussi grâce à de nombreuses autres activités culturelles. Rome est une ville qui en propose beaucoup du point de vue musical et artistique. Voilà, voici mon témoignage en tant qu'étudiant. Et si vous avez des questions même sur les résidences universitaires, j'ai la chance de vivre dans une résidence LUIS.
C'est top, merci beaucoup, Taï. Attends, je vais arrêter le partage d'écran du coup. Tac. Parfait, merci beaucoup à tous. Alors, je ne sais pas si on a des questions. Ils sont timides, là, nos spectateurs, ce soir. We have a shy audience, Frankie and Maria. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas, hein, c'est l'occasion. Et notamment, c'est rare d'avoir un étudiant qui, voilà, actuellement à l'université, qui peut vraiment témoigner de comment ça se passe sur place. Donc, n'hésitez pas à en profiter, à l'exploiter au maximum. Et si vous aviez d'autres questions, on serait évidemment ravis d'y répondre. Tac, tac. J'attends. Taï, comment c'est passé? Là, si j'ai bien compris, tu es en première année, en fait, c'est ça?
Oui, exactement. Donc,
Oui.
première année ici à Rome et l'an prochain, je serai à Londres.
À King's College.
Oui, à King's College.
D'accord. Et c'était difficile de rentrer dans cette formation?
Alors, sûrement, en fait, un des principes fondamentaux de notre formation en Policies and Governance in Europe, c'est qu'on est peu. On est 40 et même pour le programme de double degree, on est encore moins. Donc, oui, sûrement, il y a plein de profils de haut niveau, mais ce que cherche l'université, c'est aussi des profils de personnes qui ont de l'expérience, qui ont des profils les plus variés possibles. Donc,
qu'est-ce que tu avais fait, Taï, avant Qu'est-ce que tu avais comme licence
Une licence en Philosophy, Politics and Economics ici à la Louis.
D'accord. Oui,
donc au total, c'est ma quatrième année. C'est ma quatrième année ici à Londres.
D'accord, génial. Alors, on a quelques questions là qui commencent à arriver. Alors, justement, en lien avec les prérequis, sont les entry requirements, donc que je viens d'évoquer un petit peu avec Taï là maintenant. Peut-être, Frankie, can you tell us a bit more about entry requirements at Reading, perhaps?
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute there. Sure, no problem at all. So obviously it will depend on if you're interested in undergraduate or postgraduate study. But for undergraduate study, we'd be looking for about 11 out of 20 in the French bac. To give you some idea, obviously, if you're studying the international baccalaureate, we'd be looking more about a 30. And if you're studying UK A-levels, then it would be about 3 Bs. We'd be looking for entry to undergraduate programs. For the postgraduate programs, varies slightly. So we'd be looking for the programs that are equivalent for a 2-2 of grades of about 11 out of 20 in your undergraduate degree. And if you're looking at one of the programs with a requirement of a 2-1, and they do vary slightly depending on how you combine degree courses together, we'd be looking for about a 12 out of 20 in your undergraduate degree program. Of course, if you have studied in a completely different system, I'm assuming you've studied in the French system, but if you have studied in a different system, do please put some more information into the chat, and I'd be more than happy to help with that. For English language, so if you have studied in the French system for undergraduate, we can take a score of 12 in English in lieu of IELTS, but if you're studying at a postgraduate level, generally, unless you've studied in the UK or another English language speaking country, we would be looking at the IELTS. We'll be looking for about a 6.5 overall for entry to the program.
And Maria, what about Luis then at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels? What do you look for?
So our admission process is very tailored so that students, once they apply, basically there is an admission board per each single program that goes through all the documents. Students are often called for an interview. So we don't really share like specific minimum grades that they need to have. I can definitely tell you that if you are coming from an IB school, for example, and you have predicted grades of 30, we do have a specific admission path in that case. So if you have SATs with, specific grades, we can scores, we take that into account, and you qualify for what we call direct admission. So we do have different processes based on the kind of applicant, but there are not minimum grades that I feel comfortable sharing. Obviously, if you're applying for a master's degree, that becomes a little bit tougher. So you must have studied something that is clearly connected with what you are applying for. But again, like we try really to look in details into each single candidate and understand very well, whereas, as much as we can the specific situation.
Je pense que, thanks Maria, je pense que c'est important de souligner qu'effectivement l'admission se fait de manière très holistique. Donc au-delà de la note qu'on peut éventuellement vous demander au bac ou à la licence et qui est indicative, hein, ça ne veut pas dire que si vous avez 11, vous serez forcément admis à Reading par exemple. C'est pas tout à fait comme ça que ça fonctionne. C'est la note, oui, ça va jouer. À côté de ça, on va regarder souvent des lettres de motivation, des lettres de recommandation. Il peut y avoir un entretien, donc, et puis il y a le niveau d'anglais qui joue aussi. Donc, c'est une étude globale du dossier qui fait que derrière, vous êtes pris ou pas, en fait. Is it too late to apply for September 2022? Both of you, Maria and Frankie?
Not for us, no. Obviously, for undergraduate, we passed the UCAS deadline, but you can still apply as an international student up until June, even after June. You would just enter a system of what's called clearing then, but you could still apply for 2022 entry. Similarly for master's level, and we do accept applications on a rolling basis throughout the year. So of course, that means when a course is full, it is full. But I know that the politics courses are not quite full yet. So if you are interested in master's level study, do please make an application to us. So we accept rolling throughout the year, but we'd recommend that you apply before the end of May, just so you can organize everything and secure a place on your course.
We do try to keep it simple. So the deadline for all the programs is May 31st.
And is that a definitive deadline? Can we still apply beyond that? Or is it?
It's a very hard
That's
deadline.
It. 31 mai pour Louis, la date limite. What about fees? I'm being asked about fees. What kind of fees are the programs at?
So from the University of Reading side, again, this will depend on if you're studying undergraduate or postgraduate. But for undergraduate courses, our politics courses are what we call band 1 courses. So they're humanities, social sciences courses. So I'm pleased to say they're slightly cheaper than some of the sciences courses. But for undergraduate, you'd be looking at around about £18,000 a year. And for postgraduate, it's actually something quite similar. And we do have some scholarships available for students at undergraduate level. We have country-based scholarships that are based on academic merit. So you didn't need to apply for those, you'd be automatically assessed. And we do have 2 scholarships of £4,000 each set aside for French students for this year. And that would include students that are domiciled in France as well. So if you're at an international school, you're still living in France, then you would be considered for one of those French scholarships. For master's level, it's slightly different. We have general scholarships that you can apply for. We have about 10 that are available that are worth £4,000 each. And our School of Politics, Economics and International Relations also has 3 scholarships available for international students worth £4,000 each. So technically you could apply for both and be awarded both. So that would be an £8,000 reduction off your fees.
So for us, all bachelor degrees cost €11,600, regardless of your nationality and etc. And all master degrees cost €12,600 per year. Just like Frankie was saying, we also have scholarships. It's actually very funny that the admission process is very different, but this part is basically the same. They are all merit-based. There is no application that you have to do for that. You just apply for the program and then we get back to you and let you know if you have been granted one and the kind of scholarship. We can give partial scholarships, of course, but also full ones, and some of them even include the canteen on campus and the accommodation as well.
For accommodation, do students, can they always live on campus then in both cases? Is accommodation guaranteed or not?
So, for us, if you get a scholarship that includes the accommodation, of course, is 100% guaranteed. If not, there is an application that you have to fill out in May once you have, finalized all the procedures and you are basically enrolled. If you cannot get a room, which can happen, we do have a lot of dorms, but still, obviously students tend to ask for it. So we also have a real estate agency that is ours. It's called the Casa Luis, which means home. And they only help Luis students find accommodation in private apartments. So you would be sharing the apartment with other students just like you.
So for us at Reading, we're a campus-based university, and that means all of our accommodation is either on campus or within about a 10 or 15-minute walk away. As long as students apply by the 1st of August and meet all of their offer conditions by the end of August on the year that they're intending to enter, then we do guarantee accommodation to students for 1 year. So if you're coming to do a master's, of course, that's your whole degree. And for undergraduate students, we guarantee it for the first year. And then a lot of students might apply to come back to halls. They're usually successful, depending on the year. But then a lot of students would similarly move into private accommodation so they can live with their friends in 2nd and 3rd year.
A couple more admissions questions. One that's specific to Luis, which is, do students need to speak any Italian at all in order to be admitted?
No, 0.
No, right. No Italian needed. And in both cases, is maths required for the politics and international relations courses or related?
You go ahead.
I was going to say, for politics courses, you wouldn't need any maths. You actually don't need to have studied any subject specifically at undergraduate level. For economics courses, you can sometimes need maths. Again, it will depend on which economics course it is that you're picking, but you might be required to have done a little bit of maths at your high school level for some of the economics courses. And it's partly just to do with the type of economics course that you pick. If it's more of a BSc in economics, then yes, generally you do need to have done some maths because it's a Bachelor's of Science. But if it's more focused on one of the BA courses and it is more leaning towards the politics side, depending on what you've chosen, then no, you wouldn't need any prerequisite. But if you do have a specific course in mind, if you are interested in economics, joint degrees, then yes, but just for politics, no.
So for us, generally speaking, yeah, I mean, math is required. So especially if you consider, for example, our PPE program, there is quite a lot of economics involved. So you will have to take exams, you know, related to maths. So it's important that you at least have a pretty solid, you know, background and understanding. But we do offer pre-courses. So when you arrive to Lewis, you take like a kind of assessment test altogether to understand exactly the level of the whole class. And then if the professors believe that you need to, you know, strengthen a little bit that side, we offer free pre-courses for you to take before you take the actual exams.
Okay, I've got a very specific question for you, Maria, regarding a student who apparently is perfectly bilingual with Italian, I'm assuming, and who's wondering if a foreign student can apply to courses that are taught in Italian at Luis. I imagine so.
It's a very rare question, but yes, the answer is of course. The only requirement in that case, if you do not have the, you know, the dual citizenship, and so you're not like a native speaker, we need to have a B2 language proficiency certificate to allow you to enroll. That's it.
And so I'm being asked, je suis dans how to apply technically through our applications through the Luis website. Well, typically the best thing to do, actually, this is, I don't know what the name is of the person who's asked this question, but the best thing to do if you would like to apply is to contact me. So to contact Study Experience. I'm going to put my email address in the discussion panel right now. So if you are interested in applying to either university, I think the best is to contact me and we can help you do that. So we'll help you through the whole process, help you identify the right course, prepare your admissions documents, apply online or via whatever platform, for example, UCAS, you know, for the UK, so with the University of Reading. And then we'll help you confirm your place and prepare your departure. So you should absolutely contact Study Experience for that. CG. There we go. Est-ce que nous avons d'autres questions? Je crois qu'on a fait le tour. J'en vois pas d'autres. Tac, tac. I think we're good. All right. Well, look, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Ty. That was really great input from you all. I've recorded everything, so if you want to watch yourselves over again, you'll be able to do so from tomorrow. Je pense que c'est plus important, effectivement, plutôt pour ceux qui nous regardaient, si vous voulez revoir certains passages ou si vous aviez des informations précises à aller chercher dans la présentation, on vous enverra un enregistrement dès demain. Et puis, je vous enverrai aussi nos coordonnées pour que vous puissiez nous envoyer d'autres questions éventuellement, ou si vous vouliez. Une dernière question, combien coûte l'aide de Study Experience? Alors, on est rémunéré par les universités avec lesquelles on travaille. Donc, dans le cas de Louis et de Reading, ce sont des universités partenaires de Study Experience qui nous rémunèrent. Et donc, de ce fait, nos services sont gratuits pour ces deux universités. Voilà. Bon, je pense qu'on a fait le tour. Très bien. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, everyone. And have a lovely evening. Belle soirée à tous.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.